All right, let's get to it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shelf Life. I forget what number it is. Today, we're going to be catching up again because I haven't done these in a little while, and I've slept. I elevated a little more so we could see a little bit better. I'm always changing how high this is, and the test run went well. So, before we get into it, let's just relax. Let's just relax. We're just doing another video. That's cool. What's been going on? I ran 15 miles today, and then I went and I had a walk with my family, and then we went and rode bikes, and it's just been a very chill, easy day because I haven't worked like a maniac, and I'm trying to implement a day of rest, which is very much so needed. As you saw last week, I was going to try and make one of these on Wednesday, but I couldn't do it. Didn't work out, so wound up we're probably at like 10 days since the last one. So forgive me, but we're back. We're back. We're here. And we're getting close. What's today? The 23rd. We're getting close to the end of the month. And when we get close to the end of the month, we start rushing through things, or at least seeing what is possible. And I want to talk about reading pace. It's kind of like running, but it's with reading. So Aristotle, Nicomachean Ethics. This has been great so far, and I'm finding it very easy to read and to get through, but it's the end of the month, and this is not like the end of the month goal. That's kind of more with literature and novels. This is philosophy. I can be slow at this. We're reading very intentionally, and I did the same thing with Plato, and yeah, Plato was my first philosophical read, so we can be nice and slow with that. However, we're getting closer to the end of the year, and Schadenfreude, I still don't know how to say that correctly, is making its way to people's shelves. I am waiting for it to show up at my house, and I got the digital version, but I can't open it. I don't know if it's just because it's on my phone, I need to open it on a computer or what, but it's coming, and I plan on starting that in September. This I need to get done. Not need to get done, but I want to get done. And I'm on page 332, and today's goal is to be 343. So 11 more pages with the day, but I think the rest of the book goes to 443. So if I finish today's goal, I'll be 100 pages away. And what's that, 20 pages a day? I can do that, and then you just cut that down to the hour. All right, well, 10 hours, I'll read 2 pages. 2 pages, 2 pages, 2 pages. And if I get a chance to sit down and read longer and enjoy it, fine. But I like to hold myself accountable to these paces. This is how I wind up reading so much, even though I really don't seem to be reading that much compared to other booktube talkstagrammers. But who cares? It doesn't matter. Just enjoy what you read, absorb it, and go at your own pace. But I like to give myself a little bit of pressure. I like to end at the month. I like to have something to chit chat about. And today we're talking about pace. So that's my pace. I have little goals. I like to do this. Now, talking about Moby D, because I don't know if I could say that on everything without breaking any rules. I really am enjoying this, but it's still kind of in the boring part. We're going in and out. We're meeting other vessels out there. I think we're near Java, and it's fascinating, the whaling industry of past times. It really is. It's absolutely wild. So I don't have a whole lot to say on it, but Ahab's the man thus far. This stuff is raw and gritty, and the sea is very unforgiving, but very cool. And I'm starting to learn about Melville's life a little bit more, and how he was pretty much a forgotten soul ahead of his time, kind of like Van Gogh, depending on who you're talking to, but really appreciated posthumously. And, that's always sad, but at least we herald him with the correct esteem that he needs. Moby D, I'm enjoying it. Now, just to give myself a break before I knew I was going to be putting down philosophy and really slamming the whale, these bits of poetry they've just been kind of sitting there, and I had been pacing them in a let's read a poem a day. Let's read 2 poems a day. And I guess I've recently taken much more of an interest in poetry, and I guess I've started to take it a little more seriously. So I put away these books for the day, and I was like, I'm finishing these in the next 2 days. And this was all I read. And I find that giving poetry collections like this the same amount of focus and value opens them up that much more, like so much more. I got so much more out of it by sitting through this and reading like 70 pages of poetry. Like, I don't know, it's kind of like running, where no matter how far you're going, the first 7 minutes always sucks. It's just like, all right, now I'm getting into the rhythm of reading like this, and it was very enjoyable, very good. If you're looking to get more into poetry and get away from like the big basic anthologies like this one, this is very, very useful. This is, what's this called? Norton Anthology, Modern Poetry. This thing is awesome, but sometimes it's not as fun and nuanced. You don't feel as cool reading this, for me, and I'm definitely going for cool. But Black Mountain Poems, essential cool, like incredible. And then after that, because this one was easier to absorb and understand, and like, all right, I kind of got the gist of that one, then Mr. Pound. And Mr. Pound is very controversial. People love him or don't like that I'm reading him, but it's my eyes. So there we go. The first part of this book was cool. It was like you could grab bits of it and like, okay, I see what's going on here. Interesting, fun, creative, imaginative. The imagism is exceptional. And then this much is selected cantos. And I don't know much about the cantos. I guess you can like really dive into Ezra Pound, but the cantos is supposed to be like a huge epic poem, like the old Greek poems, or Dante's Inferno, like just this huge sprawling story. It reminds me of the poetic Eddas, which I read, which were awesome. I read those a long time ago. I should probably reread those. But it's kind of like his own made-up version of that just spans time. It goes from like ancient, weird, mythological castles and kings all the way to like his time, modern business people, sales, stockbrokers, economy, and like it just seems to span that. But in this selection, it wasn't like cantos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It wasn't totally chronological. It was like, and they're all Roman numerals, so I don't know what they are, but it was like 1 through 3, and then 9 through 15, and then they just kept going on and on and on. But you could see as they jumped ahead in time. But really piqued my interest with taking poetry more seriously. These are my current reads, but like since I've spoke to everybody last, this has been it. 100%. Like that's kind of all I'm reading from now until next week. And then we'll see where we are from there. But we also have, let's check my notes, which I hid down here at the bottom. Moby D to the finish line, Nicomachean put aside next week. Awaiting in anticipation for book mail and poetry. Ezra Pound selected black poems. Oh, I finished reading out loud Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone to my son, and we watched the movie, and it was awesome. And I have another controversial book by a woman, but that was fun. And to see my son start to pick up over time, like, oh, all right, we can read Dr. Seuss, we can read something small and fun for the day, but to see him actually understand to a degree, like he'll ask me questions like about something we read last week. Like he's starting to catch how long books work. And then there were little illustrations. We got a very fun copy of it. And then I told him, I'm like, when we finish this book, we can watch a movie. And then he did what I wanted to do. He wanted to slam the last 40 pages. I'm like, we can watch the movie tonight, but we got to sit and read this. And he was like, all right. So that was fun. And now we're on to book 2. What is book 2? We started it. The Chambers. Something with the Chambers. I don't know. But it's fun. We do like 15 minutes of reading every night, and I just feel like that's good dad core. Now, also got some book mail. If you give me a gift certificate, guess what I'm probably going to buy? And if it's not books, I'll buy something, and then the leftover change that I have, I have a list of books, and I'll just grab the cheapest one. So, let's just go through. I don't know what this book is. Uh-oh, I might be... Hold on, we might have to pause. We got... Yeah, buddy! Give me a minute, I'll be right up. The Bridge, Hart Crane. This is recommended. I don't know if this is poetry or not, or a short little book. No idea. Let me know. We got poetry. Walt Whitman, Leaves of Grass, the original 1855 edition. Nice and short. It's going to be another poetry. I have been eyeballing this book for years, since before I started revamping all my reading. Love is a Dog from Hell, Charles Bukowski. I remember picking this up in Borders and flipping through it, and this was an expensive book when I've seen it, and it wasn't too bad, like $26, but still, I couldn't bring myself to buy it, but I have been wanting this for a long time, and I finally was like, just buy it. So I just bought it. And then another one on the list was James Joyce, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. I heard nothing but wonderful things about this, and I wanted to ask you, I am working towards Ulysses. This is one of my white whales, but I've heard that you have to read other things before you read this. And again, don't get lost in doing that. But before we read this, December, I'm probably going to read Homer's The Odyssey and Hamlet. I've heard are like kind of like the two bare bones that you should read before Ulysses. Should I read Portrait? Like, should this be my trio before Ulysses? Like, I don't know. I'm a little intimidated by this, and I don't want to miss a ton, even though I know I'm going to miss a ton. But I know this is a special project. This is a special project book. It's on my big boy list. So let me know. And I think there was another one over here. But yeah, I've read from Joyce Dubliners. That's it. So, and then Ulysses is the big one I want, but like, I think I should read this one first before I get into Ulysses, and then ultimately we're going to hit Finnegan's Wake, which we can't do until we read Ulysses. So it's it's like one of my reading projects. So, guys, that's it. Like, subscribe, give me some stuff to chat about, and happy reading. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in again, and I'm out.